growing fears that Prince Harry could end up being deported from the United States of America as Donald Trump toughens up in his second term. Link Lauren, the former senior advisor to RFK Jr., posted on X, if Trump deports Harry and Meghan, he better be put on Mount Rushmore the next day. And of course, there is a possibility of this because Niall Gardner, director of the Heritage Foundation, is absolutely pushing this court case that would see Prince Harry have to admit, if he was honest on his admission form to the US about his illegal drug use, that he went into loads of detail in Spare about. And of course, for the first time, this case will be heard in a Trump judicial system. So, Link, Lauren, so great that you are here. And I am really interested to know whether you think Prince Harry is no longer going to be shielded from scrutiny like he was by Joe Biden's government.
Well, I'm glad we're having this conversation, and I actually think a lot of people don't realize the similarities between the issues the UK has had the last few years and the United States. I mean, we've had an affordability crisis, housing crisis, immigration crisis, and you guys have as well, which is why you've seen the rise of figures like Nigel Farage and Donald Trump, people who are really strong on deportations and strong on immigration, because a country without borders is not a country whatsoever, let's be honest. But yeah, no, I stand by what I said. I think if Donald Trump deports Prince Harry, he will have full legendary status for years and decades and hundreds of years to come. But my caveat is I want Meghan to go too. So everyone keeps telling me we can't deport Meghan because she's actually an American citizen. So I'm also wondering, don't you think Meghan is maybe crossing her fingers that Harry gets deported? She'll get to be the victim. She'll get to be the victim. She'll get that whole house, the kids to herself. She'll get her new reality show, Meghan Goes Single in Hollywood. I think she is like hoping, living on a prayer like Bon Jovi, that Prince Harry gets deported. But no, Tom Homan, Christy, no, we're deporting everyone else. Just throw Harry on one of those planes to Venezuela or whatever and kick him out too. Yeah, no, I'd be happy to see Harry go. They haven't contributed anything to society. They've been here 5 years. I understand we had a pandemic, but that's been over. When are you guys going to start contributing to society in any way, shape, or form besides Billie Eilish merch? I'm waiting.
Right, folks, this is huge. Prince Harry's US visa is under serious threat, and with Trump potentially returning to power, experts say his days in America could be numbered. Now, here's the issue. Harry admitted in his own book, Spare, that he used illegal drugs. But the real question is, did he admit this on his US visa application? Because if he lied, that's grounds for deportation. And for the first time, this case is going to be heard under Trump's judicial system, which means Harry might not get the protection he had under Biden. The Heritage Foundation is fighting to get those records released. And if it turns out Harry lied on his forms, he could be forced to leave the US for good.
Yes, very true. Very true. There is a slight fly in the ointment, though, and I'm interested to know what you think about this. So I have a theory that the thing that could stop Donald Trump getting involved is nothing to do with Prince Harry and Meghan. I mean, he hates these two. He really, really does, because he knows that he was so viciously put down by them. I mean, Meghan was slagging him off on late night TV long before she was ever with Prince Harry. So it's nothing to do with the fact that he has these very negative feelings towards Harry and Meghan personally. But it's about King Charles and Prince William, who Link, he has the utmost respect for. He loves our royal family. He met with Prince William recently. He showered praise on him. He loves King Charles. I mean, he has so much adoration for members of the royal family, in part, of course, because his mother, who was born in Scotland, was an absolute monarchist for her entire life. So my issue is that Trump will not want to cause trouble for Charles and William. And the last thing Charles and William want, genuinely the last thing they want, is Harry back on a plane. Because I've reported in the past, Link, that Charles is absolutely paranoid that Harry's going to come to him cap in hand asking for millions of dollars when the money runs out because Meghan spent it all on private jets. And William just cannot stand the sight of his brother. So my worry is that Trump doesn't actually push that nuclear button because he doesn't want to offend Charles and William. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think Donald Trump has bigger fish to fry right now. We have MS-13 gang members, people with face tattoos, criminals, and rapists who need to be deported first. But if there's time over the next 4 years where we can reassess Harry's situation, I am all for it. I understand the folks in the UK want absolutely nothing to do with them. I'm in the UK quite often. They're not too enamored with Prince Harry or Meghan Markle whatsoever, so nobody wants them back. But speaking of Meghan Markle trashing Donald Trump, Meghan Markle would sell her soul in a second to be First Lady, okay? She would step over anything to spend a night with Donald Trump. I know it sounds crass, but Meghan Markle, the queen of social climbing, she can trash Donald Trump all she wants. She would throw Harry to the wolves in a second to get with Donald Trump. That is a fact.
Well, I've actually been desperate to ask you about...
Excuse me, that's an opinion. I don't want to get sued. They're very litigious.
Yes.
That is an opinion.
You're still allowed opinions and free speech in the US. They lock us up in the UK for that. That's a whole other conversation link. But actually, I've been desperate to ask you about that because I've reported on Meghan Markle for a number of years. And I was the first reporter to reveal the fact that she had ambitions to enter the White House, which I know seems like a ludicrous proposition now, but genuinely, when she was in the royal family, she made it very, very clear that she believed she could become the first female president of the US. Of course, you're a political analyst, you were in the RFK Jr. campaign. Is there any prospect of Meghan having a political career in America now?
Now this is where things get really juicy, because Link Lauren just dropped a bombshell. He says Meghan would throw Harry to the wolves in a second if it meant saving herself. And let's be honest, does that really sound far-fetched? This is the same woman who cut off her entire family the moment they weren't useful to her. No. She's watching Harry's future in America crumble and she's not saying a word. Think about it. Meghan has trashed Trump for years. But now, she's quiet. Almost like she's leaving herself room to pivot if it benefits her. People are even saying, if Meghan saw Harry as a liability, she'd be gone in a second. And honestly, where's the lie? Now let's talk about Trump's possible role in all of this. Because if he wins in 2024, Harry might be in serious trouble. Link Lauren even joked that Trump would be put on Mount Rushmore if he deports Harry. And honestly, there's a part of me that thinks Trump would love to make an example out of him.
I really don't see it. But then again, people are very forgiving and the news cycle moves so fast. Something that happened 6 months ago seems like a lifetime ago. So, if Meghan Markle really wanted to reinvent herself over the next few years, she could. But I think she's missing a key component, which is authenticity. We live in an era in politics where people want truth. They want authenticity. They don't expect these perfect specimens, these puritanical people to run for office, right? They're willing to accept flaws if you're going to be a warrior and be a great advocate for them and their causes, right? So like Donald Trump, everyone knows Donald Trump's not perfect. He's been open about that, but people voted for him because of his policies and they knew he was going to fight like hell for them. So Meghan Markle, if she really wanted to reinvent, she could try and maybe run for some type of smaller office in California, but I don't see it. I really don't see a lot of brilliance or intelligence. And also, she's lazy. I hate to say it, Meghan Markle doesn't want to work that much. And when you run for office, it's 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 18 months. We have very long cycles here in the United States. You guys are lucky you don't have to deal with that over there, but our campaigns will go on for 2 years. Meghan Markle doesn't have the stamina or the work ethic. She barely wants to show up and film and do anything. She, took her years to do this little show. She still hasn't done her book. I don't think she wants to work. Even when she was in the royal family for 18 months before leaving, she didn't want to go and even do the royal engagements. You know what I'm saying? She could barely handle a few events a week. I don't see how she's going to run a political campaign where she has to engage with the press off the cuff, extemporaneously, 7 days a week, 18 hours a day, and do events and be friendly. I think she will have face crack moments and she will drop the face and she will be done.
Link, I'm really desperate though. Can you not apply for one of those, or the seat, the new seat in the White House briefing room to ask the amazing new press secretary? Because I'm desperate for there to be a moment where Donald Trump is asked about Harry and Meghan, right? Because he is just being so funny and so brutally honest at the moment. And in fact, I wanted to get you to react to a couple of my favorite legendary Trump moments from his second presidency so far. They're both brand new. So the first was he was asked in the, I think it was in the Oval Office about Joe Biden signing for CAA, which is the big Hollywood entertainment agency, and he gave a very brutal response.
Trump has made it clear he's cracking down hard on immigration. And let's be real, if Harry were just another celebrity, nobody would care. But because he's a royal, this would be a huge headline. So the question is, will Trump actually go through with it? Or is this just political theater? Either way, Harry should be very worried. So let's say the worst happens. Harry gets kicked out of the US. What then? Does he beg King Charles to let him back in? Because let's not forget, he burned a lot of bridges back home. The royals have made it very clear. Harry made his choice. So if he suddenly comes crawling back, do they even take him in? And what about Meghan? Would she stay in America and leave Harry behind? Because at this point, it really feels like she's setting herself up for a solo future. Meghan hasn't defended Harry once during this whole deportation scandal. And if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what will.
He doesn't wish him well, does he, Lynn?
No. I'm thinking because my friends always make fun of me. Anytime I say, oh, I wish them well, it's like a joke amongst my friends. I usually don't wish them well. But no, Donald Trump is the consummate entertainer. I mean, the guy is a comedian. I imagine Joe Biden signed with that agency probably to do a book or speaking engagements, maybe a documentary. I'd like to see Joe Biden on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I think I'd like to see if he can pass that. Maybe we could put Meghan on there as well. But yeah, no, I'm not sure exactly what projects he has in the can. I'm sure Joe Biden will likely do a book. I think when Joe Biden passes away, Joe Biden's going to let it rip for whoever pays her the highest amount. So no, I'm not shocked that he signed with this agency, but Donald Trump is hilarious.
Well, there was an even better moment. I can top that at the press conference with Netanyahu. And I was watching this, and an Afghani journalist made a comment or asked him a question, and he just couldn't understand her. And you know, most leaders would ask for it to be repeated, but Trump's reaction was honestly one of his all-time classics. Watch.
I will say Donald Trump is in his prime right now. I mean, here in the States, it used to be for years, right? If you were even fair to Donald Trump or covered him fairly, you were called a threat to democracy. You were called far right. You know what I'm saying? Especially the last 4 years. Now that Donald Trump has won this election in a landslide victory, he won the popular vote, the Electoral College, he won, you know, the House, the Senate, you name it. I think he's in his prime. He just doesn't care. This is his final 4 years. He's going to get done what he promised the American people. And when it comes to the press, they have been behind for years and they've been on the wrong side of history for so long. I just don't think he cares anymore about being friendly with them. Come correct or don't come at all.
Indeed. Indeed. And I'm loving it. I just sit back and wish that I was in America at the moment because we've got an absolute mess happening here.
So here's the big question. Is this the END for Harry and Meghan in the US? Because right now, it's not looking good. The court case is moving forward. The legal experts are paying attention. And if Trump gets back in, Harry could be the first major name to face deportation. And the public? They're already having a field day with this. People are saying, if Harry goes, Meghan's not going with him. At this point, she might already be planning her next move. Alright folks, that's it for today's reaction. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and let's get the conversation going. Do you think Harry is really at risk of being deported? And if he is, will Meghan stand by him? Or is she already planning her next escape? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.